Alright, this is the quadratics test review. So number one, these are being multiplied. Notice there's no plus or minus in between the parentheses. So you're going to lobster claw. 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times 5 is 10x. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. And negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. Then you're going to combine like terms. So you drop down the 2x squared, combine like terms, that gives you positive 7x, and drop down the negative 15. That is your answer. Number two, which one is a quadratic equation? Quadratics are ax squared plus bx plus c. The x squared is what makes it a quadratic, okay? A is linear because it just has x's in it. C is called a cubic because that's x cubed. And D is exponential because x is in the exponent. Number three, factor y equals x squared plus 7x minus 18. So when you factor, this is a trinomial, 1, 2, 3 parts. You do 1 times negative 18 and then put it out to the side. What multiplies to give you negative 18, negative 2 and 9, or negative 9 and 2? When you add those, you get 7. When you add these, you get negative 7. You want positive 7. And you got to divide by the front number, which in this case is 1, so it doesn't change anything. So two sets of parentheses, x and x, you want negative 2 and positive 9. Number four, the function h of x equals negative 13x cubed plus 52x represents the height of a rocket after it is thrown. When does it hit the ground? Alright, I'm going to use Desmos for this one. So I'm typing it in Desmos. And when you type it in Desmos, this is the rock going up and then it comes back down, and the x-axis represents the ground. So it hits the ground right here. Hits the ground at 2 seconds. Number five, what is the vertex of x squared minus 13x plus 42? The vertex, remember this is a quadratic, so it's going to make a parabola. In this case, it's positive in the front, so it's going to open up. The vertex is these points right here. So remember, the parabola either opens down or opens up, and so it'll either have a vertex here or a vertex here. Once again, I'm going to use Desmos, so I'm going to type it in. X squared minus 4x plus 5. And then on Desmos, I'm going to click right here. This is the vertex. And the answer is 2, 1. Alright, number 6, Josiah compared the function x squared minus 4x plus 5 to the quadratic function that fits the value shown in the table. Which statement is true about the two functions? So I'm going to put this one in Desmos. I also want to put this one in Desmos, but I can't do that until I put it in stat and get the equation. So I'm going to hit stat, edit, and I'm going to type in 0, negative 1, negative 2, 5, 4, and 5. Stat, calc. Sometimes it's linear, sometimes it's quadratic, sometimes it's exponential. So if you go back and read the question, this one says that it's quadratic. So let's go down to number 5. And I'm going to write down the y equals. Y equals x squared plus 2x plus 5. I'm plugging in a, b, and c into the formula. So you get x squared plus 2x plus 5. So I'm going to put this one in Desmos as well. I'm going to put them both in. X squared minus 4x plus 5. Oops, I just did that last question wrong. I typed in the wrong thing. Sorry about that. All right, let's go back to number 5. Here it is. Number 5 was x squared minus 13x plus 42. So the vertex of number 5 is 6.5, negative 0.25. Sorry about that. So this was wrong. So 6.5, negative 0.25. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so now I'm going to type in, all right, now I'm going back to number 6. I'm typing in x squared minus 4x plus 5. And x squared plus 2x plus 5. Alright, so I have them both typed in. A says the functions have the same y-intercept. And that is true. They both cross the y at the same spot. So the answer is A. Okay. Alright, number 7. Factor 12x squared minus 13x plus 3. This is a trinomial, 1, 2, 3 parts. So you do 12 times 3, which is 36. And let's see, some things that multiply to give me 36. 6 and 6. 12 and 3. None of those are working so far. 36 and 1. That doesn't help. 9 and 4. All right, 9 and 4 adds to give you 13, but we want it to be negative 13. So it's got to be negative 9 and negative 4. Negative 9 times negative 4, when you multiply those, gives you positive 36. And when you add them, gives you negative 13. All right, then remember you have to divide by the front number. So you divide by 12. And you can use your calculator. This one reduces to negative 3/4. And this one reduces to negative 1/3. So I'm going to do my 2 sets of parentheses. I'm going to do bottoms up, bottoms up. So it's 4x minus 3 and 3x minus 1. All right, number 8, 3x plus 1 equals 0. You're going to set them both equal to 0 because it says solve. Set them both equal to 0. So you're going to add 1 to the other side. So that gives me 3x equals 1. Divide by 3. X is 1/3. And here you add 7 to the other side, so x equals 7. So you get 1/3 and 7. That's C. Number 9, what is the difference in the y-intercepts of the graphs of the following functions? You could use Desmos if you wanted and find the y-intercepts. I'm going to do it without Desmos because I know that the y-intercept is the one without the x. And difference means to subtract. So I'm going to do negative 8 minus 11, which gives me negative 19. Number 10, the bottom of a rectangular box has a length 3 feet greater than the width. Jimmy will increase the dimensions of the box by 5 feet. Write an equation that represents the new area of the bottom of the box. Always good to draw a picture. So I have a rectangle. The length is 3 feet greater than the width. So here's the length. It's 3 feet bigger than the width. And you put a W over here. All right. Now Jimmy will increase both dimensions by 5. So he's adding 5 to both. So if I draw a new picture, this would be W plus 8 and W plus 5. Write an equation that represents the area. Area means to multiply. So I need to do W plus 8 times W plus 5. And I'm going to lobster claw that, which gives me W squared plus 5W plus 8W plus 40. All right, and then you combine like terms, which leaves you with double x squared plus 13x plus 40. They're just using the x instead of the w. Number 11, which is the graph of the function x squared plus 2x minus 3? You can use Desmos. So when you type that in, x squared plus 2x minus 3, when you type that in Desmos, it matches D. Alright, Mrs. Patterson's math class convinced her to be shot out of a cannon on the last day of class. The opening of the cannon is 16 feet above the ground and is shot in the air with an initial velocity of 70 feet per second. So here's the function that models the launch. When will she reach 80 feet? So once again, we're going to be using Desmos. Let me type that in. And in Desmos, you want to use X's and not T's. Alright, so I've typed it in Desmos. And it says, when will she reach 80 feet? So I'm going to have to, oops, I went the wrong way. Zoom out. Alright, so trying to find approximately 80. Looks like close to 80 at 1.3 seconds. She'll be about 80 feet. So 1.3, I'm writing that down. The next question was, how long will she be in the air before she hits the ground? So I want to know, when does she hit the ground? So remember, the hit the ground is right here at the x-axis. So hits the ground at 4.6. And what is her height when she has been in the air for 2.5 seconds? Let me come back here and say something real quick. So 80 feet is a y value. Your height is y. So I was looking for 80 in the y. 2.5 seconds, time is an x. So I'm looking for 2.5 in the x. You could also, instead of tracing with your mouse, you could come over here and type x equals 2.5. And then it'll give you the point right here. So at 2.5 seconds, she'll be 91 feet in the air. And at what time does she reach her maximum height? Maximum means the highest. So I'm going to bring this down. Delete this one. Alright, so the highest point, so it said, this one said at what time, so we're looking for an x. So the x value is 2.188. And then what is her maximum height? So the height is the y, so her height is 92.563. And you can round. Alright, if you have any questions, feel free to email me.